event that these could occur.
So before we get into our policy changes, it's important to understand exactly what enterprise risk management is, as I'm sure many of you might not know what that is. It could be a foreign concept. There are many definitions out there, but according to the Society of Actuaries, it is defined as the discipline by which an organization in any industry assesses, controls, exploits, finances, and monitors risk from all sources for the purpose of increasing the organization's short and long-term value to its stakeholders. It's also important to understand how enterprise risk management has come about. In previous years, we've seen risk management simply as purchasing insurance in the essence to protect and preserve one's assets. But obviously, as society continues to complexify, we see all these risks as a bigger threat to these organizations, thus enterprise risk management has come about. This leads us to our next concept of risk. Risk is defined by the International Risk Management Institute as the uncertainty arising from the possible occurrence of given events, and it can be further broken down into various perspectives. So starting with pure risk in the top left corner, this is defined as the possibility of loss or no loss. And in class, Professor Holly Lucas liked to use the example as a woman is pregnant or she's not pregnant. She's not just kind of pregnant. So you either have a loss or you don't have a loss. Speculative risk is defined as either a profit or loss occurs. So we typically see this in the form of investments. Strategic risk is the uncertainty regarding an organization's goals, objectives, and SWOT, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is typically seen as an organization's reputation throughout society. Operational risk is a business operation from the manufacturing and distribution of products to physically providing services to consumers. We see this a lot in human error, especially throughout student travel. Finally, financial risk is the uncertainty of loss from adverse changes in commodity prices, interest rates, foreign exchange rates, and the value of money. For this purposes, it typically is seen as inflation. So all the previous risks we just analyzed can vary depending on the organization. Enterprise risk management obviously differs within a university setting than in a corporate setting at large. However, within this umbrella of university, there are various factors that can affect these type of risks depending on the university itself. The first being whether a university is public or private. This is typically seen through financial aspects such as endowment, resources, whether they're funded by state governments, or if the university is deemed to be a research institution. Secondly, the size differential. Obviously, if we're comparing Ohio State to Mount Union, there's a larger number of students there, thus a greater amount of risk could occur on their campus. So our group wanted to understand what the current state of enterprise risk management is at the university level. According to a PhD dissertation from the University of Western Michigan, conducted in 2015, found that 90% of institutions of higher education report that they do not have a written risk management policy, while only 18% have a risk appetite statement. This study explains that while there are factors that acknowledge to understand the various types of universities, the main focus of enterprise risk management within higher education should be the adaptation, implementation, and integration of an ERM program or policy at large. It's also important to mention that the University of Mount Union is one of these 18% who does have a risk appetite statement and has gone through efforts to provide us with a program. So looking at internally for a university, there's many different risks which we can classify as internal and external, what a university can and cannot control. Starting with internal, just general concepts of these would be campus safety, alcohol and drug use, and network security. But in terms of student travel, we see this as our travel policy, a driver eligibility, the vehicle maintenance, and the insurance policies that the university has purchased. External factors are obviously what we cannot control. These examples include competition, government regulation, and accreditation requirements. Once again, for student travel, these would be concepts such as road construction or traffic, things that we as a university cannot control. And before we continue, I just want to talk about some of the benefits of enterprise risk management at large. According to the Institute of Risk Management, here are some benefits of implementing a program within your organization. Better informed strategic decisions, increased operational efficiency, reduced cost of capital, more accurate financial reporting, and competitive advantage.
All right, so now we'll move on to the risk appetite statement. But before we start, we want to understand why we have a risk appetite statement.